According to tradition, Thomas Aquinas once asked St. Bonaventure how he acquired the deep theological wisdom he displayed in his writings. Bonaventure pointed to a crucifix and said that he had learned all he knew from contemplating that. From the beginning, nearly 2,000 years ago, when St. Luke painted perhaps the earliest known image of the Blessed Virgin, the Church has always encouraged the creation and veneration of sacred images. In the great age of our faith, most Catholics could neither read nor write. Books were either unavailable or inaccessible for the best part of 16 centuries. People learned their faith by the pictures and statues in the churches. Devotion inspired devotion, and children learned by the example of their parents. The faith prospered. The advent of the printing press, Luther's rebellion, and the Protestant revolt saw the loss of millions in Europe from the Catholic faith. This swept across Europe in the years that followed, leading to a vicious iconoclasm of sacred images, altars stripped of beauty, and the well-established worship of the sacral and the aesthetic forms that surrounded it. In many places it saw an unlawful transferal of ownership of the historical and artistic heritage of the Church, as well as theft, confiscation, disfigurement, or the loss of priceless works of art. How did heaven respond to this loss of millions of Catholics? Our Lady was sent with an image, Our Lady of Guadalupe, given to St. Juan Diego, which caused the mass conversion of Indians to the faith, the biggest in the history of the Church, practically without any words at all. Later in France, St. Catherine Labouré was told to have a statue made of Our Lady of Grace and a medal struck of the same image. Our Lady told St. Dominic that the cure for the heresies plaguing the Church at that time was the Rosary, a prayer that calls for meditation or the forming of the mental images of the principal 15 mysteries. Our Lord promised St. Margaret Mary great blessings everywhere a picture of his Sacred Heart was venerated. And this is why, once again in our own age, Jesus told St. Faustina Kowalska to have the image of his Divine Mercy painted and venerated. Again and again throughout the history of the Church, our Lord has sent us images to convey his love for us. This is my Sacred Heart. This is my mother's Immaculate Heart. And this is my mercy. This is my love for you on the cross. He calls us simply, like little children, with images of his love for us, which are accessible to all, young and old, saint and sinner, gifted or slow. The face of Jesus, the face of God, is a human face. And the face of Christ today, as it has done through the many various forms down the centuries, continues to haunt our subconscious. He is the Word made flesh and dwells amongst us, the Logos, the Incarnation. Artists continue to contemplate the face of Christ and hope through their artistic creations to reveal insights into his truth, goodness, and beauty. This does not mean that the renewal of sacred art is in fact underway. Rather, we can see that by far the majority of creative people in our own time have turned away from organized religion and even disavow any connection with the sacred. And yet, the sacred persists. Submerged in the subconscious, his face reminds us that only the eyes of Christian hope can gaze unflinchingly into the darkness of our times. The artist of hope creates images of man restored to the imago Dei, the image and likeness of God within us. As Pope Benedict XVI once wrote, "Nothing can bring us into close contact with the beauty of Christ himself other than the world of beauty created by faith and light that shines out from the faces of the saints, through whom his own light becomes visible."